Welcome to Botanical Trails Through the Juniper Forest. I'm your host, Brian Heater. Each week, I'll have a different guest join me to explore a pair of interesting gins. We'll chat a little bit about the gin and the distilleries, throw in a bit of trivia, hopefully laugh a bit, and then we'll go off the beaten path. Although I say that this is a podcast about gin, really this is just an excuse for me to spend time with my friends. But that'll just be our secret. Okay, let's start exploring. Thanks for joining us for episode 3. My guest today is Brian Place. Brian, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So,
looking forward to this all week.
Yeah, me too. And thank you for your flexibility. We had a winter storm yesterday that was primarily like sleet, gave us, I don't know, like an inch or so of ice, and we rescheduled, but you were very flexible, and you're back here this evening, one day later, so I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
So I've been trying to think of themes for when my guests come on, because it just makes it a little easier for me to plan and everything. So you and I was trying to think of what we have in common, and there really wasn't a ton of stuff. You seem to be much cooler than I am.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, it's well documented.
Yes, I can show you the papers. But we are both Irish, so I thought we would try a couple of Irish gins today.
Awesome.
So, yes. So our first gin today is Drumshanbo Gunpowder Gin.
One of my favorites.
You actually introduced me to this gin during COVID. You did. And I have to thank you because it is easily in my top 10. It is one of my favorite gins. It is super tasty. So the recipe that I used, which did not go with what they said, I'll cover later what they had talked about, but I mixed our drinks today. They're gin and tonics. They are with Mediterranean Fever Tree Tonic. And we both did just some lime juice in, but not the lime wedges itself. So that is our first gin. How did you initially discover this gin?
So I was actually at the Crushed Grape.
Oh, okay. It's
and
a local liquor store.
Yeah, and they obviously, with the name, they focus on wines, and so my wife and I happened to be in there, and she kind of like pointed over to the gin section. They happened to have like a spirit section. And they had all these cool bottles and cool labels that I hadn't seen before. And this one happened to be there, and it said, Irish gunpowder tea, and it has a jackalope on the bottle. It's like, well, okay, check. I need to get this. And so I did, and brought it home, and I just absolutely love it. It's got some interesting botanicals to it, but it's not like doesn't get too crazy. So I love it. So
yeah, no,
Solancha.
Yes. Well, thanks for introducing that to me. It is, like I said, one of my favorite. It is produced by the Shed Distillery. They opened in 2014, so they're less than 10 years old. They are in the village of Drumshanbo, which is in the county of Leitrim, it's Leitrim, which is on the shore of Low Allen. I'm guessing that's a lake over there. So they have two sort of interesting slogans, like when you go through their website. So it is the curious journey of the curious mind, and they make the ordinary extraordinary. So they distill a couple of different things, gins, vodka, and an Irish whiskey. It is the Drumshanbo Jackalope that is on the label. So it is their own jackalope from the local area. They make 2, but it looks like actually 3 gins. So we are drinking kind of their gunpowder gin. It comes in a blue bottle. I think it's probably the one that most people would recognize. So the reason that it got its name is they combine botanicals from China along with local Irish ones. So it has 12 known botanicals in it. 8 are combined in their pot chill, and then 4 are vapor infused, including the Chinese gunpowder tea, which is what gives it its name. The gunpowder tea, each tea leaf has been rolled into a small ball reminiscent of gunpowder, hence the name. So now, if you go onto their website, it is, along with the juniper, it's kind of grapefruit, like citrus forward. So their recommendation for a gin and tonic is a wedge of red grapefruit. I don't like grapefruit. I wouldn't know what to do with it once I sliced a wedge off. So that's why we went with the lime and the way that I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the other gin, so it looks like they have 2 gins if you go on their website. There's one that's prominent, but then if you go into their like shop section, there was sort of another hidden one. So another one came out just right before Christmas here. It is Drumshanbo with Sardinian citrus. So that is a relative of orange and grapefruit that comes from Sardinia. It comes in a green bottle. I actually got this for my brother-in-law, Andy, for Christmas. And let me pull up real quick. The way he described it is similar qualities to their regular gunpowder gin, but with a stronger dash of citrus. Both have a very dry mineral finish that he said hits him just right. He's had it in a gin and tonic as well as a last word, but it's been very good so far, and he enjoys it. But if you go into their like shop here, they also then have a third gin, which is a California orange citrus. I haven't seen it anywhere here.
I haven't either.
So I don't know if it's relatively new and it's something that will be coming available. I also don't know if you could just order it from them since they're based in Ireland.
Right.
So
I looked at their website too, and it's kind of funny. You were talking about, the different botanicals and the like. Did you read through the different botanicals? Because it seriously reads like a J. Peterman catalog. Because each one has been sourced in a different area. It's sourced in Outer Mongolia.
Yeah.
Or we found these juniper berries in Macedonia, just on the slope of something, whatever.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
I thought they had a great website.
Yeah, I did too.
They did a good job describing it. So, but yeah, this has been one of my favorites when I have friends over. It's always just like a go-to. Yeah. It's a very popular one with my friends, and this has just been a very tasty addition to my overflowing liquor cabinet. Gin.
Can never have enough.
No, it's definitely an issue. I just need, I think, more cupboard space or something. So, but no, and our second gin will also be an Irish gin, but I don't remember. Have you ever been to Ireland?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not been there yet. Supposedly, my brother's been there, and I think my mom's been there, but
okay.
I have not yet. But we're supposedly from the County Cork, and
okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
I don't know a ton about my Irish ancestry out of 2 different things. I literally Sunday got the results of 23andMe.
Oh, did you?
Yes. And part of it popped up in the county of Cork that it could have originated from there. I have Irish blood on both my mother and father's side.
Okay.
I do know that on my mom's side, from some research that I want to say it was her great uncle did, but kind of like a family history type thing. But along the way, at some point, there was a Irish nun who produced some ancestor.
Oh, I'm sure it was some form of immaculate conception.
I don't think so.
No?
But no.
Are you sure?
No, I'm pretty sure. But it was, that stood out to me. And then I'm just not sure, like on my dad's side, where it came from. I think I know one of the family names, but there wasn't a whole lot of history that was found out on it. So
yeah.
I also haven't been there. My middle sister Lori has been there.
Well, my son Aaron did the 23andMe as well. And what's funny is there's all, just like with every family, there's all kinds of folklore and kind of stuff that, somebody said at one point in time we had relations who was a Civil War general. And then I started looking it up and I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure. But the thing that he got back from the report was it was possibly more Scottish now than Irish, but I think, the Vikings kind of island hop there for a little bit, and it may have contributed to the 23andMe results, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. A couple of the things on there sort of surprised me, but that stuff is just a little bit interesting. I would definitely like to go there someday. I know quite a few people who've been to Ireland.
It's on the list.
Enjoyed it. So.
It's on the list for sure.
Yeah. I was hoping that potentially it was going to be this fall. We're doing a trip with my mom, and we were looking at either like a British Isles trip, so doing like London, Edinburgh, and Dublin, because like you also, I'm English, Irish, and Scottish, along with I'm kind of Western Europe rolled up into a ball of mutt. So looking at doing that, but instead we're doing something that you also did, which is we're taking a Viking cruise. We're doing the Rhine River. You just did something this past.
We did the Danube.
Yes.
And that was fantastic. It was fantastic. I mean, you're spoiled. You can't go wrong. I mean, your hotel room moves from city to city, and you can roll out of bed and go right into town. It's fantastic. I mean, we got to see just the major cities that we saw. We were in Munich. We went to that was kind of a side trip, and then we went to Vienna, Budapest, and I'm sure in Prague, and it was a great time.
And what was it, like an 8-day or 10-day cruise?
It was like 10 days altogether. I think we were gone.
Okay.
We had some like excursion or before and after the trip, we had extra stays, so it wasn't all that on the Viking tour. We're
going to end up going from Basel, Switzerland, up to Amsterdam, and then we're going to spend a couple of extra nights in Amsterdam.
I think my folks may have done that one.
Okay.
Yeah. They really liked it too.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So it'll be that'll be a fun little adventure this fall for us. So, how would you like to do our first round of gin trivia?
You want me to go first, or you want to?
Yeah, no, I'll ask you.
Yeah.
So could you're,
fire away.
All right. Blue Riband, Riband, is the most popular gin brand in which country? Iceland, India, or Italy?
I'll go with India.
You are correct.
Oh.
What made you say India? Did you know this?
No, I did not. No. Well, okay, so it was process of elimination.
Okay.
First of all, Iceland doesn't sound quite like that. It's usually got a lot more
consonants,
consonants, and about 12 different syllables left onto it. And Italian's got a certain flow to it, and that didn't really sound Italian. So
great guess.
There you go.
Nice. And from our last episode, I do have some follow-up. When Shawnee P was on, he got asked a question: what brand of gin shares its name with the nickname of a group of royal guards?
Beefeaters.
If you go back and listen to that episode, at one point Sean asked, is red in the name? I said no, and within 10 to 12 seconds his guess was the Red Guard. So anyhow, the answer was
the drinks were good.
Yeah, the answer was Beefeaters, and he then wondered why it was called Beefeaters. So that was sort of my homework assignment after episode 2. This is what I was able to find out. In 1485, King Henry VII formed the yeomen of the Guard. It was his personal bodyguard. In 1509. the yeoman warders were formed when Henry VII left behind 12 of his guard in the Tower of London to protect it. Supposedly, these 12 were kind of older or sort of injured, and they must not have been able to go campaigning with him. But they were left to protect the Tower of London. These yeoman warders, they derived the name Beefeaters because it originated from, they were sort of paid part of their salary with chunks of beef. So they were permitted to eat as much beef as they wanted from the king's table. So they are known for their scarlet and gold state dress uniforms, which is what is pictured on a bottle of Beefeaters gin. So that is where the name Beefeaters originates from. Have you ever had Beefeaters gin?
Yes. Yes, I have, and that's why I knew the answer. I was screaming it out at home listening to the last podcast. So, yeah, no, it's a staple. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, it's you see it a lot. I've seen a lot of restaurants, and it's pretty popular.
It's very good. It's a very good dry gin.
Yeah.
Very, very good dry gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we will take a...
Do you want me to hit you with a question, or will we do that after?
No, we'll do that in the second segment.
All right.
So, but we'll take a short break, and I will go get gin number 2 ready for us. So.
Excellent.
Welcome back. Our second gin today is Dingle Gin. So, I literally just tried this. Let's see, today is Thursday. I literally just tried this less than a week ago on Friday. So, the reason I went with this is when I was originally plotting out the first few episodes, another guest was going to come on, and there was a gin we were going to try from a different Irish distiller. But they make 2 different versions of gin. And then I was going to use their other version for having you on. And then, as I was thinking about it, I was like, I don't want to disappoint my 3 listeners. I should do a different distiller if I'm 6 episodes into the whatever this thing is. So I then researched like Irish gins, and there's not really a ton that are available in the U.S. There's some, but I kind of looked into it a little bit. But Dingle Gin is what I went with. Give that a try, and then I will tell you a little bit more about the gin and the distillery.
Huh.
Is that a good or a huh?
Well, so for the 3s of listeners, you presented me with 2 shot glasses of one with the
yeah. You haven't started those yet.
No.
Okay,
no.
Don't do that.
But I took a sniff of them both.
Okay.
And so I smelled the dingle.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
There's a chuckle that has to come there. So, but it smells to me like it's more like a London dry. I can smell more of the juniper
it is.
Forward on this than I can.
This is definitely a London dry gin.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
But in drinking it, it may be the tonic. I don't know, but it's it doesn't like the juniper doesn't slam like you would normally expect in a dry gin.
Yes, it is a London dry gin, but I feel it is not super juniper forward.
Right.
It's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I made this basically the same way I made the last one.
Okay.
It is, again, this is Dingle Gin with Mediterranean Fever Tree Tonic and a squirt of lime.
Yeah.
So, Dingle Gin comes to us from the Dingle Distillery. They are in Dingle, County Kerry in Ireland, which is known as the Wild Atlantic Way. They opened in 2012 in old sawmills just outside of Dingle. So they distill whiskey, vodka, and gin. As far as I can tell, this is the only version of gin that they make. So this gin is categorized as a London dry gin. Now, when I was doing a little bit of homework, they had some pretty unique botanicals that I just hadn't seen before. Rowan berry from mountain ash trees is one. Bog myrtle, hawthorn, and heather. I don't often see those in gins. Not that I completely pay attention to that, but those sort of caught my eye. Now, if you go onto their website, they said the best way to enjoy this gin is with large cubes of ice, a wedge of fresh orange, and a sprinkling of juniper berries. I don't know where I could find juniper berries. Like, I don't know that I can walk into a store and buy juniper berries.
I thought you were going to say with a girl named Heather, but...
No, it didn't mention that. It didn't mention that.
It probably should.
Now, one of the reasons I went with this gin is in doing a little bit of work, it kind of caught my eye, and then I completely forgot to bring the bottle in here. But I'll show you after the show. But on the bottle, it says that it was at the 2019 World Gin Awards. It received the award for World's Best London Dry Gin that year. And they also won the overall award for World's Best Gin of 2019.
Wow.
Also, when I go on to one of my favorite little websites, The Gin Is In, they also do like their own awards that you can go back. And in 2015, they had won a silver medal with this same gin. So they have been consistently doing a good job on their gins. So that is why we ended up trying Dingle Gin today, since it is a award winner.
Cilantro.
I like it. Cheers. Okay.
That's very smooth. It's very, very even.
It is. It's. I really enjoyed it.
That could drink a lot of that.
Yes. It's tasty. So I think what we should do right now, if you would like, is as we had done in the first 2 episodes, you have also been open to trying both gins just straight. So do you have a preference for which one we go with to start?
No, it's your show. Lead the way.
Wow.
Which way do you want to go?
You know what? Let's do this. We're drinking Dingle right now. Let's do the Dingle first.
Yeah. See how the Dingle dangles.
So, yes, let's do that. I'll come up with that as a hashtag for when I post this.
Sweet.
All right, give this a try.
Cheers.
Let me know what you think.
But you can really smell, though. You know what's so crazy on this is the juniper is definitely present in the smell, but on the taste, you typically get that sort of, pine needle taste or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really not there. It's there very quickly and then it's just gone.
It's very smooth. It doesn't burn you.
Right.
Like when you just take a straight shot of gin.
Oh.
They did a nice job with it.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you could sip that. No problem. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what their recommendation
you probably have a problem if you're just sipping it, but...
No, I don't think so. Their recommendation for the best way to enjoy this is large cubes of ice, slice of orange, and if you can find some juniper berries, throw that on top of it. But that's their recommendation, for how to
go to Macedonia, where they got the Drumshanbo.
Wrong gin.
Wrong gin, yeah.
Okay, speaking of Drumshanbo, all right, cleanse your palate.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it right. Hold on.
And then we will give this a try.
See, with this one, unlike the other, I can smell the star anise.
The what?
There's star anise in here.
Obviously, you did more homework than I did.
No. It is. I must have, but it is your show. But no. But you can smell kind of. It's like not licorice, but it's a tiny bit of. You can smell something that cuts the juniper.
Okay. Well, Let's give this one a try.
That's also good, but I actually like the Dingle better straight.
If I was going to drink it straight, I would agree with you. I would go with the Dingle just straight.
This has got like it's very good, but it's almost got like a little bit of a cough syrup type finish for me.
Oh, I didn't get that. It was super smooth at the front. But I would still
do the Dingle first.
If I was going to drink it straight. But
yeah.
But I will say Drumshanbo is definitely my top 10. It might be in my top 5. But Dingle, like,
that was pretty good.
I mean, I'll have to try a little bit more, but it is like really tasty.
Surprising.
So, real quick, when I was looking into... So, I got a little confused because I go onto the website, the gin is quite a bit.
No.
And when I looked up, like, their 2019 award winners, I, like, didn't see Dingle on there. When I pulled up Dingle, it was like, oh, 2015. I'm like, what? And then I looked on the bottle and it was like, no, the Gin World Awards. So, there's obviously different bodies that do these awards. But so then I looked into World Gin Awards. They have 11 different categories
of gin
that they give awards to. Yes. So, real quick, they are a classic gin, a compound gin, a contemporary style gin, a flavored gin, Genever, which is kind of what the original recipe is, a London dry gin, a matured gin, which I would think I should probably start enjoying at this point, a navy gin,
yep,
an Old Tom gin, a signature botanical, and a slow gin. So here is so I read through this and I was like, what? I didn't think there were this many different potential styles or categories of gin. Should I get through one season of this? Season 2, maybe I could just dial in on each of those different styles. Now, I know I will touch base on some of these, but I haven't done enough homework to look into this right now. And I've already kind of got this first season planned out. So, but I was stunned at how many different styles of gins they're giving awards for that seemed like it'd be pretty interesting to go and kind of check out.
I was thinking about this, when I was coming over, and it's like, because gin is my favorite spirit, right?
Okay.
And it's because it's got so much variety to it, I think.
I would say that's what is really interesting.
I don't know any other, spirit that really has that kind of range. I mean, vodka does, but it's because vodka is so plain. But anyway.
Yeah, I think you could probably go really deep on different whiskeys, bourbons, scotches,
But even with whiskeys, it's like, you've got your peats and you've got there's different ends of the spectrum, I know, but they're very similar.
So real quick, for our listeners, you and I met in college.
Oh boy,
so,
yes.
Now, in college, to the best of my knowledge, neither you nor I were drinking gin in college.
No.
So when did you sort of get interested in gin?
So that's kind of I was trying to think about that too. Because, at least for me, my palate has changed the older I've gotten. When I was in college and even after college for quite a few years, I was very much a rum drinker, very sweet, alcohol. It was more sugar than it was whatever, right? And obviously beer and all that stuff too, but I wasn't really... In fact, I really didn't care for gin at all.
Okay.
It's such a weird way to get to it, but I actually started liking gin after kind of the beginning of the craft beer phase here in Grand Rapids, because it was so strange. I went to some pizza brew pub, whatever, in Granville. I don't think it doesn't exist anymore. And they had this IPA that was very pine heavy. I mean, to the point of you could literally taste just the pine needles.
Tasted like Christmas.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved it, and it was like, wait, when did this happen? And then I was like, well, maybe I like gin. And so I tried some gin, and I liked gin. And then I started going down the road of trying all the different kinds, and I've got I don't have like you, but I've got at least 6 different bottles at home.
I wish I only had 6 bottles. I don't have a drinking problem, but I certainly have a gin problem.
It's only because I've made a couple of, as we call them, Brians in my house, which are large drinks.
Nice. So, yeah.
That was my way to getting to gin, which took a long time. It's only been in the last, probably 12 to 15 years, 10 years at least. So.
Yeah. Well, nice.
Yeah.
I was just surprised at how many different categories they were giving awards away for, and I'm like, I'm not aware maybe close to half of these.
Right.
In terms of what type of style is that exactly? And
getting back to the sweet, I had slow gin when I was in high school or whatever. That was a drink that you could make.
Yeah.
It was kind of almost tasted like a Dr. Pepper or whatever.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, thinking forward, maybe that'll be something to
That's a good idea.
Explore down the road. Yeah, we shall see. All right, would you like to do round?
I do. I want to quiz the quizzer.
Yeah, let me give you the question. There you go.
All right. What brand of gin do the Ramones claim in their favorite? Oh, excuse me. What brand of gin do the Ramones claim is their favorite in the 1986 song "Somebody Put Something in My Drink"?
Oh man, the Ramones. Ugh, I'm not gonna guess this. 86. I will say Tanqueray.
Ding, ding, ding!
Did I get it?
You got it right.
Woo! That is 3 for 3. Nice.
Amazing. It's almost like you had these cards already.
I honestly, I do not look ahead. I do not do that. I promise you. So, awesome. Well, why don't we move on to what is, well, at least my favorite part of the show.
Yeah, mine too.
Off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Would you like to go first?
Well, I have 4 entries. I have 4 entries. I'd like the record to reflect. I have 4 entries.
Of course, you would say the record sort of like you're a lawyer.
Yeah, I know, but before that, no. So I think
I will give you. Ash Wednesday was yesterday. I will give you a dispensation that you get to do.
I have
whatever your top one is, and then I will allow you to do a second.
Good. Because I was going to pull.
If I get more than 4 downloads on this episode, I may have you back, and you can do your other 2.
Okay, I was afraid I wouldn't be asked back, and in fact, I was pretty sure I wouldn't be. Whether there were 4 or more that.
Let's just see how the rest of this goes. Let's see what these recommendations are. I might just axe it after 1.
Hold on a minute. We go back a ways, so I'm gonna indulge myself and tell a story. So
go ahead.
I think I've had off the beaten paths before, and Sam and Dave was one. Oh, you gave me so much grief.
Let's not go down that path because you got upset about that, and I was also a jerk, and we don't need to talk anymore about that for now.
But I think I'm entitled to 2. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna milk it. I'm gonna milk it.
You can have 2.
So all right. So. It pains me to make this list just down to 2, but all right for you. I'm going to make it 2.
Okay, is one of them a book?
No, none are books.
Oh, really?
Really. Okay. I had 2 music and 2 programs.
Okay.
But I'm going to do 1 music, 1 program.
Perfect. I will say real quick before you get into it, I'm bummed you didn't do a book because you've introduced me to 2 super interesting series that I have enjoyed, and I purposely didn't touch on those because I thought you might do one or the other.
You can have either one of them. I know both of them.
I will definitely bring one of them up, potentially 2 as the series goes on, because they're both great. In fact, I sort of hate between Drumshanbo and those 2 books that you've introduced me to, how much you've influenced what I have enjoyed over the last 3 to 4 years. It really bothers me. I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad that bothers you.
No, I am glad that you've also introduced me, but it's sort of like, and then when I try to think of what am I telling you about, and I'm like, maybe that's a fail. So
no,
anyhow,
not at all. No, the whole point of this is to hopefully, open up some doors, turn people on to things that they haven't seen before or heard of before. And, you know, if the ideas get out there, that's great, because I'm
Okay, so let's do it this way.
Yeah.
I will allow you to, but let's do this.
Yeah.
Do your music one first.
Okay.
And then I will go, because mine today is actually music as well. So we'll do that, and then we will let you conclude with your programmer series. So do your music first.
My first music one, I'm very confident that very few of your listeners, the threes of listeners that you have would have heard of this particular band before. The name of the band is Moita, and that you spell it Muete, and I'm sure there's an umlaut in there somewhere, because they're a German band.
I know exactly who this is, because you've told me about them at Fat Boy.
They are the name of their band means either gang or mob in German.
Because
they are from Germany. Yep. They're from Hamburg, and I like a lot of different kinds of music, but I like glute twitching music, and these guys are a techno marching band. So they are about as crazy as you get. They started out making music that they took like DJ music, dance club music, and they put it and arranged it with their brass instruments, and they have percussion as well. They're amazing. They sound like club music, and they're so much fun. They're so intoxicating. My wife and I went to see them last March in Detroit.
Oh, they were touring?
Oh yeah, dude. No, they're all over.
Well,
they did Coachella this year.
Well, you had that's hilarious. No, you had told me about them, but I'd gone on to I don't know, is YouTube or something. I've seen them.
Yes,
they were super entertaining.
Yeah,
I didn't realize they had invaded our country.
Oh yeah, they have invaded several times. I think the more they're scouting is really what it's going. They're trying to find and they'll be on the West Coast this year.
They're invading.
Yeah. So they're just a lot of fun. They're just a ton of fun. I can't really describe their music other than you just want to dance. There's really very little in the way of lyrics, and so you can throw it on. You can clean the house. You can have it for parties when people are over, and people will wonder, what the hell is that you're playing? And Moita, baby, Moita. That's what it is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you have.
And I have to shout out to my wife who turned us all onto that. She was on her YouTube feed, and she passed it along.
Well,
to
nice
the rest
job,
of us.
Kelly.
Yeah,
way to go. So
yeah.
All right, my off the beaten path this week this episode is also music. It is the debut album of Pete Yorn. Do you know Pete Yorn? Are you familiar with him?
Yep.
He is a singer-songwriter originally out of New Jersey, now based out of LA. And his first album, which is coming up on its 22nd anniversary, if I remember correctly from the little bit of homework I did this week, his first album, the debut album, is called Music for the Morning After. It came out on March 27th, 2001. And it is two things. One, it introduced me to him, and I've enjoyed his music since then. But that album is just an album I can pop on anytime and listen to. When I moved into the apartment downtown that you've been to, that overlooked when I would have people over for stuff, I could pop that album on and just play it for hours, and people loved it. And they were like, what is this? And it was just super good. He has done albums since then. He did, I'm trying to think, it was Music for the Morning After was his first album. Then I believe it was The Day I Forgot, and then Nightcrawler, and then he did a album with Scarlett Johansson. It has just been, he's been great. But that album, in my opinion, is great from start to finish. It's probably one of my top 5 albums of all time. Life on a Chain is probably the song from that album that maybe most people would know. I've had the pleasure of getting to see him in concert at least twice. And it's great. like, I love that album. I think he's really good, better than good. I mean, I really enjoy him. But if you're looking for just a fun sort of like rock album, I definitely would recommend Music for the Morning After, the debut album of Pete Yorn.
My brother-in-law, I think, ripped that album and gave it to me on cassette. That's how old that's been. So I know I'm familiar with it. It's very good. It's very good.
It's great. Yeah. He's that thing's just good from start to finish. You can just pop it on, and yeah, it's a great album. So, all right, your dispensation choice. Here's number 2. Let's hear it.
All right,
this better be good.
You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's
not bad. That is not.
Is that not a ringing endorsement? Is that not a ringing endorsement?
That's like saying this is okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. So my first pick, but I made it my second pick, is it's a YouTube show. Actually, it's a YouTube channel. They're called Red Letter Media.
Okay.
I think I've told you about these guys before, and I'm going to shout out to my son, Aaron, who turned me on to these guys. So they're a group of guys based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And the best way I can describe the show, and the show that they do that I like the most. They do several different types of shows related to movies. But if you're a fan of comedy and you're a fan of movies, and if you're a fan of really crappy B movies sometimes that are pretty funny, these guys are right up your alley, because they do a show that is a mash of Siskel and Ebert meets Mystery Science Theater meets a bunch of good friends that you're sitting around having drinks with and talking about a movie, right? So usually what they do in their setup for the best of the worst is they'll review, usually it's like 3 movies, but sometimes they're not even movies. Sometimes they're like instructional tapes from the golden age of VHS, right? When everybody was making a training video or everybody was doing this for Y2K or whatever, right? So they've got all these just crap videotapes from 1,000 years ago, and they'll do viewings of them, and they will then come back to you and kind of tell you exactly what it was that they watched, and giving you the golden nuggets of what the crap is that they just watched, right?
Okay.
But the great thing I like about this show is, first of all, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this, it's the best edited show on YouTube.
So it's the complete opposite of this show.
Exactly. Well, because I'm sure, like, you know, when we were talking about our music, I'm sure you're going to go and post and put in, you know, music dubs of each of the groups, right? Between
I'm lucky I can record this. What are you talking about?
What kind of production is this? So anyway, no, but what's really great about it is they make their own movies, and they make their own bad movies, but they understand that. So they look at it from a storytelling aspect. They look at it from just a pure comedy standpoint. And the only thing that I have to say about it, you know, again, Red Letter Media, best of the worst, find it on YouTube. Prepare yourself for Rich Evans' laugh.
Is he one of the hosts?
He's one of the hosts. I can't wait to meet this guy. I want to meet this guy at some point in time. He has the best laugh. Not maybe the best. It's one of the top 3 that I've ever heard.
Like a contagious laugh? Like you hear it and you want to laugh?
You hear it the first time and you think, oh my God, that's so fake. Because it's so out there. I mean, It breaks sound barriers. Okay. It's so loud, right? And then you realize after watching maybe 1 or 2 of these shows that, no, that's his real freaking laugh. That's how this man laughs. And I can't imagine being around him and hearing that laugh all the time. It would kill me. It would just kill me because it's so funny. Anyway, prepare yourself for it if you watch it. It's very good. If you like comedy, if you like bad movies.
Yes, you have told me about this as well at Fat Boy. Real quick, Fat Boy is our favorite lunch spot that we have gone to since the mid-90s when you moved back home to Grand Rapids.
Yes.
When I got you that job.
24 years ago.
You owe me.
24 years ago.
Yes, but we love Fat Boy.
Yes.
And we love hanging out. And yes, you have introduced me to that group. It's
the only thing I sponsor on Patreon, period.
Wow. Well, that's...
And I'm like their...
Yeah.
And not only... Yeah. So they do a very good job. They do an exceptional job. So
that is awesome. Well, I cannot thank you enough for being my guest for episode 3 of Botanical Trails.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and we will look forward to exploring some new gins the next time around.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Feel free to subscribe to us on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. Also, I want to take a quick minute to thank Darin VanderMolen for all of his help behind the scenes. Without him, this podcast probably wouldn't even exist, and his help is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great week, and we will look forward to seeing you the next time we go down the botanical trails. This has been a Shits and Giggles production.